with VEI. It's a super helpful resource, and I found it to be a welcome resource that I didn't even expect. My name is Chris Chambers. I'm the CEO and founder of Serious Simulations. We are an Orlando-based military training and simulation company. My military career started right after high school. I entered West Point and graduated in 1983 and entered the Army as an infantry officer, starting out in the Cold War era, and then moving on through multiple assignments overseas and in the United States, a little bit in Afghanistan, and some time teaching on the other side of West Point from being a cadet as an instructor up there. Serious Simulations now is a company in the military simulation and training business. We specialize in real weapon instrumentation so that we can enable companies and customers to bring real weapons into simulators so that the soldiers or Marines or sailors who are using our equipment can utilize their real weapons but still have all the data necessary to interact with the simulation in that environment. There has been literally no solution for an intelligent and data-rich hand grenade or mine throughout history. As you might imagine, throwing objects at each other in a training environment could be hazardous, so we had a safety aspect, but the technology underneath also didn't exist where you got any sort of reasonable information. So we have these classic examples in armies around the world where they use tennis balls or pine cones or even rocks to simulate hand grenades, and then an umpire or an officer that's involved with training would just make a subjective judgment call about what the damage was of that training device, quote unquote. We knew we could do better, so we set out deliberately to solve that problem, and we came up with a very intelligent simulated munition that calculates its proximity to individuals and vehicles that surround it, just like a real munition would have interaction with those targets. And the smart grenade interacts with the training architecture and assesses battle damage and gives immediate feedback to the soldiers in either the synthetic training environment, which is the new architecture for the U.S. Army, or its previous architecture, which is called MILES, or in the Marine Corps, the MCTIS. And so our munitions work in all those environments. Serious Simulations has become a company of innovators, and so our employee composition is mainly engineers and folks that are involved with designing hardware, designing implementations of hardware and software, and we have great electrical talent, and we also design printed circuit boards, and those printed circuit boards require assembly and testing, and we have technicians in our lab that are really skilled in doing that. Teamwork is a super important part of running a business and establishing a friendly team approach to our daily business. I find that veterans are naturally team players. That's helpful in a business. That mindset comes with military veterans, that they're team-oriented. And that shows itself in a lot of ways, not just accomplishing your business goals, but training, mentoring, socializing. There's lots of aspects of teamwork that make life more enjoyable and the business more successful. I'd recommend VEI for young entrepreneurs who are looking for some help and maybe to connect up with a mentor or a teammate in a variety of businesses. I think that can be really important. I wish I had had access to that years ago when I started my business, but now I'm happy to help add to the pool of resources that VEI has and help with their burgeoning young small business community, and maybe I can help some of those folks as they're putting together their new business. My message to individuals that are coming out of the military and thinking about starting a business is to definitely do it. You never want to look back and say that you should have done something. It may appear risky, and it is risky to start a business in some ways, but that risk can be managed. And probably my final word for a veteran is just remember that old adage, by perseverance, the snail reached the ark. So if you have a desire to start something, keep it burning inside you and keep it going. Don't give up, don't give in. We just went over our 10-year anniversary of my company. I had a celebration of it, and I had to think back. I was like, wow, that's a long 10 years. When we were building it, we thought we'd hit the level of success we have now or greater in 5 years. It's great to have that optimism. It was double my timeline already to get to where I'm at. So perseverance is an important inside the gut kind of thing that you gotta have that burning desire and don't give it up. So after you think you should quit, just keep sticking with it and find an alternate way to solve whatever the problem is and just keep going. Solving problems is entrepreneurship.